All right, welcome everyone. It's February 17, 2022. We're glad to have Liz McCarthy here with RealTracs. And today we're going to be covering some of the hot new things going on in RealTracs and tools to help you better utilize this important tool in our business. But before we officially get started, I wanted to invite anyone to share. You can put it in the chat or just unmute yourself and share if there's anything in particular that you want us to talk about today. We do have some things on our agenda, but if there's anything that you feel rusty or you have particular questions or have had issues about, we'd love to hear that. Is there anything from our attendees so far that this is your candid chance to kind of open mic it?
Nothing, huh?
Nothing.
To dive deeper into mapping.
Amy's like, we can hear you there, Amy, which is fine.
Deeper into mapping searches. We can absolutely do that. Yeah.
All right. Well, and as anyone else, we'll go ahead and get started. And if anyone else mobile searches from phone, great, John. Thank you for including that. And then, I know I hear a lot of groans about the showing system, and I'm sure that you all aren't immune to hearing about that. And of course, having multiple showing systems can be challenging, as you get spoiled having gone to one, if you will, or a predominance of one. And so there's a lot of things in the works on that. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Liz, and you can take it away.
Well, I thank you very much, sir. So welcome, everybody. Thanks for having me today. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Liz McCarthy. I've been a CHR or customer happiness rep with RealTracs for about 5 years now. And I am so glad to be here with you. We're going to go over some of the things that you want to talk about, as well as some just new updates and features that I think are really important that you're aware of. So what I'm going to do is share my screen. I want you to feel at any time feel comfortable to unmute yourself and just ask questions, stop me. There's also, within your Zoom, you have a reactions button. You can click like raise hand. It'll throw your name in front of me and tell me you have a question, or you can throw it in the chat as well. And Teddy will let me know that, there's something in the chat. Otherwise, I'm just going to get started here. And the first thing I'm going to do is share my screen, and you can see RealTracs in front of you, right? So here we are in RealTracs. One of the things that I wanted to go over with you guys is the quick search feature, or the quick search function in RealTracs. And with that, Amy will get into the deep dive of the map search as well within that. So it'll be really easy to kind of transition there and answer kind of that need as well. So the quick search option here in RealTracs is located right on that homepage. And it really does give you a quick, easy search. If you are a seasoned agent who's been using RealTracs a really long time, you probably hover over search and you go into our legacy search section. And I'll tell you guys, this is RealTracs 3.0. It's the older version of RealTracs. We have two versions of RealTracs. One is completely and utterly mobile friendly, and one is not. We are hopefully by the end of 2022, releasing non-mobile friendly from the system altogether. So this legacy that you see inside here, this is going to go away. And the new RealTracs 4.0, or the mobile friendly version of RealTracs, is going to be the only RealTracs that you'll be using. Everything that we do in RealTracs, we kind of do baby steps towards. So when we make changes for you, it's not like, boom, here's some changes. Good luck. We hope you can figure it out. What we do is we step by step, little tiny, test things out and make sure that you guys are able to use it easily and transition slowly into it. So that's what we've been doing over the last 2 years. We introduced the mobile app, and now everything in our system is slowly but surely becoming really mobile friendly. So with that said, if you're used to using this legacy search, this old timey, old crusty RealTracs, as I like to call it, you're used to seeing that search come in through this way. And you'll notice inside that map that some of the icons have changed and been updated and upgraded. That's because this is the newer system. And we're trying to get you used to seeing all those new icons. They're mobile friendly. And with RealTracs, I'm going to open up a whole nother RealTracs so I can go back and forth between the two. It'll just be easier. With RealTracs, you have the ability to use the old system, legacy search, because we're not taking that away from you until it's complete, to use the quick search, which is RealTracs 4.0. So if you notice, you have to hover and click to get into a search in RealTracs for RealTracs 3.0, the old one. But in the new search, or in the new RealTracs 4.0, you don't have to. You can come right in here and immediately do a search. So if your client says, hey, I saw this listing on realtor.com and I want to go see this property, you can say, what's the property address or the MLS number, and type it in right here. So if they're looking for 422 Wiregrass Lane, you can start typing that in, and the new system is a smart system. It's going to say, is this what you mean? And you can use that drop down, click on it, and it'll pull up the property report. Now you'll notice here that it is not for sale. It says off market here. This is an off market property report. In old timey RealTracs, if you were to type in 422 Wiregrass Lane, it'll say no search results found. In new RealTracs, we still give you results. We still tell you, hey, this property isn't for sale currently. The last time it sold was on October 9th of 2020. Here is the sales history information. Here's the tax record and the MLS information. So you can still have information on this property without being told, hey, there's nothing. Now, what's really cool about the new system is that while you're on this off-market property report, let's say, for example, they told you the wrong address, or it is in the Williamson County, West Haven, subdivision area, and they just gave you like an incorrect address. You can still see what is for sale around this area. All you have to do is go right here to Browse Map. And this little button right here takes you into this West Haven subdivision area. Here is that property that your client told you was for sale, but maybe it's not. Maybe they got the address wrong. You can click search this area and immediately get everything that is for sale in that area. There's only a couple that are currently for sale in the area. Okay, totally different than what you used to get.
All right. I'm going to go upstairs, so you're going to have to get the door for them.
Okay.
So you now, instead of going in, hovering, clicking a property class, running a search this way, you can literally go from an off-market property to finding properties on the RealTracs map. It's super easy. Maggie, you do in the quick search have to start off with a full address. Now, you don't actually have to have the full address. If you're looking for Wiregrass Lane, just that particular street name, you could be looking it up in a different way. So I'll show you how to do that as well. So I'm going to click on the R at the top left-hand corner and go back to this quick search again so you can see it a different way. So if you were just looking for the street address, or the street itself, not the full address, maybe you don't have the full address, you don't have to type that in here. Just click this button right here that says additional search options. If you click additional search options, you're going to get that traditional criteria panel and map. So I'm going to flip back over here so you can see the difference. This is RealTracs 4.0, the mobile friendly version. And then you have old legacy RealTracs. So it's got a search panel and a map. They should feel similar. This is just bigger, fatter, and easier to read. And guess what? It fits that beautiful little device right there that we're all so used to using. So this is exactly what you can do. So Maggie mentioned, oh, but you have to know the full address. You don't. You can come in here by clicking that additional search option and come right in here and decide, to put in the street, Wiregrass Lane in there, or just put in the subdivision if you know what the subdivision is. Okay. So
Would that be the same
that's-
for searching? Would that be the same for searching, let's say, a condo at the Icon? You put in 600 12th Avenue South in the 4.0 search, and obviously it's not going to know what unit number or.
right. Right. It's the same type of searching that you've always done. You just enter it in on this system. It's the new system and it's a little bit smarter. So for example, like when I start typing in a city in the old system, essentially you have to know how to spell the city's name. If they put it in as Mount Juliet, M-O-U-N-T, you would have to type it in as M-O-U-N-T in order to receive that listing. In the new system, as I type in Mount Juliet, I can, oh, it's not, let's see, let's just put in Juliet. And it's going to say Juliet, Georgia, or I could type in M-O-U-N-T and it's going to find Mount Juliet, Mount Carmel, Mount Pleasant, Mountain City. So it's a smarter system. It's grabbing that information. Same thing for county. So if you happen to be looking up Franklin, you can type in Frank and it's saying, is it Franklin County, Tennessee? Or if you scroll within that, not scroll within it, but if you're looking for Franklin, Georgia, Franklin, Alabama, you've got those abilities too. As you type in Montgomery County, you can type in just M-O-N-T and it pulls up all of the versions. So you have that ability still, and it's just a smarter system. Okay. So that old system, again, you have to hover, click in legacy search, and then fill everything out you need. In this new system, you can either put in an address, city, county, school, zip, or MLS number, or just hit additional search options, and it takes you into RealTracs 4.0. Now, if you're used to hovering and clicking, you can still do that as well and get to the new system. You just hover and click on listing search, and it brings you in here. You can bring that panel down right there. Okay. One other thing about the quick search. If you are on the quick search and you have designated that RealTracs is allowed to use your location services, then you will have this little flag from a map flag here. And if you click this and search, it's going to search near your area. So wherever you are located, it's going to search. So see that blue dot? That's me. You guys now all know where I live. Please don't come visit me. But you have the ability to see that anything around your area. You'll also notice that when I'm on the map itself, it centers me on Brentwood. That's because RealTracs office is in Brentwood. So wherever your office is where it's going to center. So wherever Village is located, it should have your map land on that area. So you're kind of feeling out from your office, essentially. Okay. So, John, it is awesome. I'm so glad you think so. So John, you wanted to, or not John, but Amy, you wanted to do more deep diving in the map searches. So while we're on the map, this is a great opportunity to do that. And then we can even flip this to the phone and you can see what it looks like to the phone. So here we are. In RealTracs' like 4.0, the additional search option. So that basic little button right here, additional search option, we're right here. If I want to search using the map, I can get rid of my criteria panel for now just by clicking this search icon right here, this little magnifying glass, and make my map nice and big, right? Now, to search using the map, it's pretty easy. Let's say, for example, Amy, you might be geographically challenged, okay? Maybe you're like north, south, east, or west. Nah, that doesn't work for me. But how do I find what I'm looking for if it's centering me right where Village is located? And what I really want to look is in Springfield or Ashland City or whatever my client's looking for. And I don't know how to get there from the map. It's so simple to use. All you have to do, friends, is come right over here to the center icon. This is your location finder. So you can click on the center icon and you can throw an address, a city, a county, or a zip in there, right? So if I wanted to go and find, let's say, Clarksville from here, I could type in 37040, a Clarksville zip code, and it will bring the map over to 37040, which is really nice. And then I can search this area. If I click search this area, it's going to find all those properties. If I want to add criteria to that, because my client probably has criteria, right? Like maybe they have a certain amount they can pay. Maybe they're not interested in under contract showing, okay? And they want to get rid of that. Maybe they don't want any condos and they are not interested in HPRs or mobile or manufactured. You can choose site built, okay? And then you can add your price, your beds, your bath, all of the square feet, you know, include or not include auctions, open house, all that stuff is available. Just hit your search button and now you've got an updated search value. Okay, so that's one way to do it. We centered on a zip code, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start over again so you can see it from a different point of view. Okay, we close out that and we hit center. Now, I could do an address, a city, a county, or zip, but what if what I really want to do is find a major location? So like, let's say, for example, my client says to me, Liz, I work at the airport at B&A, and I want to live within 2 miles of B&A because I don't want to commute. You can come in here, and even if you don't know B&A's address, you could literally type in Nashville International Airport. And then I would even put in Nashville, Tennessee. Since this is a map of the world, you want to kind of specify just in case there happens to be another Nashville International Airport. But you can see a major location here, and it doesn't bring the address down. It says can't find a match. Search using that text provided. And when I click it, it's going to drop a pin right there on Nashville International Airport. Now I could click search this area, which is going to show me everything for sale in the area. Or I could use the draw tools and draw that 2 mile radius that they asked for. So I'm going to take this grid on the right side of the map and I'm just going to slide it over. I'm going to click on that little grid thing and make it slide over so it's more of the center of my map. I'm going to move my map up just a little bit so it's easier for me to draw. And then I'm going to come over here to the draw menu, click it, and you can see here I have a radius drawing or a polygon search. So if I'm looking for 2 mile radius, I'm going to choose the radius, click it. You can see it changes a different color. I can come over here to where my pin is or where the airport is, and then I can left click and hold it down and just drag it out. So I'm going to left click, hold and drag, and look there. I've got my miles right there, 2.0 miles. Now I can hit search listings. Here's the 15 listings that are within that 2 mile radius. If they want to live more on this side of the map, you can make sure you're in draw mode, move your guy a little bit further up. We're still within 2 miles of the airport, but we want to live on this side of 40. I can hit search listings and it'll show me the 19 listings there. And again, if I want to add my client's criteria, that really specific stuff they're looking for, like square feet and dollar amount, and they don't want anything under contract at this point because we all know in this market, you aren't getting it if it's under contract, right? So you can go in to that and make those changes. You can say, I'm only interested in site built and I need to have this price point to this price point, bedroom count, bathroom count. Then I just hit search again and it breaks it down based on my criteria. Okay.
Odd, but quick question. Under search where it says site built, you click search and site built there. Why do they have HPR at the bottom versus why what's the, I mean, it's not alphabetical. So why, I mean, we use HPR, I think more than we use modular or manufacturer. Just curious why that is in that.
You know, that's a great question, Teddy. I don't really know what the logic behind it was when they created this and put HPR at the bottom, but I will tell you, while in Nashville, HPR is extremely common, in all the other areas, HPR is not common at all. So maybe that's why. If you would prefer HPR to be closer to the top so you don't have to scroll, definitely that's something I can share with our developers. I'm not really sure the logic behind why it was put there originally. It's been there forever since we started this, so I don't really know, but I'm going to definitely say closer to the top. And that's what my friend from Village is looking at.
I
can do
would,
that.
yeah, I would love that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can definitely take a look at that. I'll let my developers know that might be something just as easy as 2 little clicks with their code writing and make it super easy. So I don't know exactly what the logic behind it was, but certainly can do that.
Cool.
Questions about map searching, guys? Amy, do you have anything that you'd like to talk about when it comes to the map searching, when you wanted a little bit deeper dive?
Let's see. I think that just moving the radius circle and then drawing shapes so you're avoiding, certain small corners like near interstates and things that aren't attractive. I mean, I just need to practice that more, but that would
Yeah,
be.
and you know what? I think that practice is the best thing you can do when it comes to drawing on the map. But Amy, it's really easy to make adjustments to this map. I'm going to show you here. We're looking at it, we searched. So there's 2 modes when it comes to RealTracs. You have a search mode and a draw mode. Okay. So when you want to make an adjustment to the drawing, you have to be in draw mode. So we've clicked search. We told it to be in search mode. So now if we want to make an adjustment to this drawing, we can come over here and put it back in draw mode. And then you just click inside the shaded area. You can adjust it with the pulls like this. You can also adjust the whole circle, or if you click inside that shaded area again, it's going to turn little circles all around that circle and you can pull them in and out. So if you wanted to avoid this area altogether, you could make that like that. And it just takes a little bit of practice. Then when you hit search, it's only going to search that particular one.
Right. Can you also draw shapes inside the circle? Like if you have the center circle already drawn, then you click on draw and then you can draw an additional thing and then click on it and it will just limit your search to those parameters.
It won't. So it's going to assume you're looking in both drawings. So
Okay.
here's the thing. What you would want to do is you would want to get rid of the other circle. So
Okay.
let's say to get rid of every drawing on the page, you just hit the trash can. To get rid of one drawing on the page, you can tag the red X here or even just hit delete on your keyboard.
Okay.
So you can do this. And if that's the area that you wanted to draw in, then you could come over to your polygon and say, okay, I'm looking for this here, drag, okay, and draw pins. You can also use the polygon as a freehand and draw any shape you desire.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And again, as soon as you hit search, you are no longer in draw mode. So you would not be able to adjust these until you tell RealTracs to put it in draw mode again. And then to delete all of them, just hit the trash can icon. To delete one of them, click inside the drawing and tag the red X or hit your delete on your keyboard. Maggie, you have a question.
I do. So how can we show this map? I know you can share a list and a map, but is there a way to share a list and a map and the grid all together where someone can say, okay, I can see all of these things. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like the map that I've drawn.
Let me just
Yes, please.
think for just a second on the new system, how that works. So if I am making a drawing and I want to share that information with my client, if I go up to you can't click share, it won't let you do that. But if I go here to, let me see if I put the grid here, print, list and map, what does that look like?
Okay. How did you put the grid there?
I'll show you in just a second here. Yeah, no, it won't show the grid.
magic.
Okay. The magic is right here. The grid on the side is right here. Do you see the grid?
Yes.
Little arrow. I can
Got it.
click it, collapse it, click it to open it. But it doesn't look like you can open up the grid and the map and share it. And if that's something that you'd like to do, where you're sharing the map and the grid of properties, That's
Yes.
definitely some feedback that we want to take back to our developers. So whenever you guys have like wish lists or feedback, I want you to feel really comfortable reaching out to RealTracs by just going right here where it says help. And there's this button right here that says submit a ticket. And don't just wait till an office visit to offer that up. Let us know. And if all of you want it, send individual feedback requests right here and tell us what you're looking for so that our developers, this goes directly to the guys who write the code and design it. So make sure you send that feedback in. If that's something that you want, then let us know. And if it's something that everybody in the office wants, if you send individual ones, it's telling us, hey, 15 people, 25 people, 100 people want this, and it puts that at a higher priority. Okay. Yes, Maggie, you still have a question, or did we just not?
No, sorry, I need to lower my hand. Sorry about that.
You're good. I just want to make sure I'm answering.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, this would be incredibly, this kind of be a game changer for me as far as being able to show people, if you want this kind of house, you have to pay this for it, and it's going to be over here versus, anyway.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely.
I just want to clarify, what you're wanting to show is the actual area that you're mapping. So if you made a custom shape or something, is that true, Maggie? That's a word.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
agreed, because I find myself taking screenshots of this and
Yes.
sending it. It's like, this is the area we're searching for you.
Yeah, that's
If
terrible.
we need to change it, and it's like, it's clunky.
It's
Yeah.
very, very cumbersome.
Yeah, so absolutely. I would say that send that feedback in. Again, just hit help and submit a ticket and feedback and say, this is what we want. And this is the use case for it. This is why we want it. And then the more people who do that, the higher priority that change takes place. So make sure you're sending that in. Of course, I will relay that information too, but it's different when it comes from one CHR versus 25 agents. You know what I mean? Okay. All right. So with that said, within the map itself, you can also tap that near me button and then find properties. I'm going to remove those map drawings that are on there, and then find properties in your area that are for sale. And that's that same near me button that we were on the quick search. It's the exact same one. Okay. All right. Questions about how to use the new RealTracs 4.0. We didn't take anything from you. We just gave you a lot more cool tools. Okay. So with that, I wanted to also go over the showing service information with you so that you feel a little bit more comfortable with sort of where we are, where it came from, all of that. So back in February of last year, you all know that Zillow purchased Showing Time. And when they purchased Showing Time, which is the most common showing service in this area, our realtors kind of went, please give us an alternative, because we know that we're either paying Showing Time, and then now they're going to share that data for free with Zillow, who is our competitor. So can you give us an alternative, or can you create your own, or whatever? So that's what we did. We created our own. We're the first and only MLS in the country to have our own our own showing service that is completely integrated in our platform. It's not a third party. You do not have to go outside of RealTracs to use it. So I know that having more than one showing service,
It's a nightmare. All right. Anyway.
That's currently being used is probably hard, but why is it a nightmare, Teddy? Tell me why it's a nightmare.
When we go to schedule showings and to do it with one service, and to have all of it collected in one source where you can see like what you're, and mapping your schedule and things like that. And everybody else can chime in here too. And I don't love the monopoly or the Zillow piece, but it is, I remember this back in the day. I've done this 20 years, when people would have different showing services, and it was like you had to call different ones, and then people didn't want to pay for those, and so it's an efficiency nightmare. But I'm just calling it like it is. I mean, but I know, and some of the feedback that I've heard from agents is just that they felt like this was rolled out way too early, and that like there were so many bugs in this system that needed to be addressed. And so maybe you can speak to some of that, or any other agents that are utilizing it maybe more heavily than me can share to that.
Absolutely. I'd be happy to address all of that. I am going to shut my door because now my dogs are barking so that you guys don't have to listen to that. So
And I'm just being tongue in cheek, but these are the things that I hear back from agents. So, you know,
no, totally. And I understand exactly why you feel that way. And that makes complete sense. I will say this though, we have, we had to do something to give agents who don't want to share their data at all. They wanted something different, and that was a lot. And we did test it for 6 months before we rolled it out. So as far as bugs go, I don't know that there were any bugs, but things that were not developed yet, absolutely. There's been some things that we have rolled out since, which is how RealTracs does all of our services. We do little things at a time so that there aren't failures in the system. And that means that as we develop it, it rolls out and we live on your feedback. So everything that we've rolled out since November, when we originally released this showing service, everything has been based on feedback from our agents. So let's go into it just a little bit so that you can see it. And I am actually going to go into a training environment because I don't have any current listings that are set up. I'm not an agent. And I don't want to schedule showings for properties that are real. Okay. So I'm going to go into the training environment on my end so that you can see. And this is the testing environment. We test everything in here. So within that, and no, I don't owe money. This is just all a test environment. In here, when you list a property, you go into listing management and you go into your add a new listing and you get to the showing service section. I'm just going to go into one that I've already sort of started so you can see what that looks like. So I'm going to hit the edit button right there. And when I go into office and showing, I go down here to RealTracs showings, and everything that has been added over since November has been all RealTracs users requests. So you can, one, learn more about the RealTracs showing service by clicking on this button, learn more, and it will take you into a RealTracs video as well as a support article that will teach you how to use it start to finish. Now, it also allows you to auto accept. So if you and your client, it's a go and show, no one lives there, and they're like, whatever, accept everything. We just want people in the house. You can turn that on. You can also overlap showing times up to 4. So if you have, you're fine with 4 buyers going in there at the same time, you can click up to 4 in there. You can decide how long the appointment duration is, how you want to be notified by email, by text, or both. And you can throw your showing notes in there, alarm code, central lock, whatever it is. You can request feedback. You can also include your seller. So a lot of sellers want to be in control of that, right? And they don't want their listing agent to have to say, yes, go ahead and show the property. So you can include them in that, as well as make the feedback that your buyer's agent sent visible to them in their own seller portal. And then this is their contact information. So let me close that out. As they put their information, or as you put their information in, it'll have their phone number here. And then they'll receive the text message that they can accept, decline, or it's just informing them that a showing is happening. You can choose your start and end time. You can give a minimum notice to show. So if they've got dogs, they have to kennel. If they, need 24 hours notice because there's a disabled person living in the house, and in order to show the property, they have to have that person have help get out. There's lots of reasons why you would need minimum notice. You can do it up to 24 hours, and you can do restricted days. So for example, we just had Christmas. So if they're still living there and they don't want to show the property on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, or the day after, you can limit that. You could limit it certain times during the day if they come home for lunch, things like that. So all of that's available for the listing agent. Then when the buyer's agent goes in to see a property or goes in to schedule it, I'm just going to open up one real quick to show you what that looks like. old timey RealTracs here. I can't use it do it using the new system. It doesn't let me in the training environment. So in this particular property, if I'm in this property report, I can go down here and you can see here it says schedule showing. There's no phone call you have to make. It's as simple as clicking this button, choosing the time and day that you want to go see it, and hitting save. And then it confirms it. It will tell you if it's automatic or if they have to accept the showing. So usually it's automatic, but sometimes they have to accept or decline it. You can hit confirm. And then what happens is you get a notification on your phone as the buyer's agent, as well as the listing agent and the owner. Everybody gets a notification saying, hey, there's a showing that's been requested and it's essentially scheduled. And you just heard my email pop up. I got an email saying that as well. So when I go into my email as the buyer's agent, I can add it to my calendar. I'm going to pull it up and show it to you here and move it over here. Bear with me for just a minute. I have 3 screens going at the same time. Here we are. So as a buyer's agent, I receive this. Hey, your showing was accepted. Then you can add it to the calendar, or as a buyer's agent, you can cancel the appointment from here as well. In the actual RealTracs system, got to move some stuff around here to open it back up for you guys. You can go into my listings, and under showing appointments, you have the listing agent side and the buyer's agent side. If I go into my buyers, here's all my appointments. Here's my feedback requests. I could provide feedback right from here. All of that's done in the RealTracs platform. Okay. Somebody said, Liz, over here in the chat, you have a question? Will there be a phone call option? That's a great question. No, there will not be. There will not be a call center environment. This is completely online. And we did that on purpose. The call center option costs money. And we don't have the people or the availability to have a call center. So if you want to use the RealTracs showing service, it is done completely online. And yes, you can do it from your mobile app very easily. Schedule showings, manage the feedback requests. As a buyer's agent, as a listing agent, all can be done from your phone. But there isn't a phone call option because there's not going to be a call center. And also, this does not cost you anything additional. It's part of your RealTracs normal user fee you pay every month. So we didn't add a cost to this. It's completely included. Andrea, you have a question.
Hi. Yeah, so it was just that, like, the mobile, is it as well mobily, fluid as it is to do it online, on the phone,
100%.
the confirmation, blah, blah, it was all that. Yeah.
Yes.
To make sure that
100%. It absolutely, in fact, everything we create since the moment we started with RealTracs 4.0, everything is mobile friendly. Everything is able to be done on the app. And so, I mean, you can add a listing from your app. You can send an offer from your app. You can manage your auto notify from your app. You can manage all your appointments and feedback requests and cancel appointments and set up appointments all from your app. Everything is available from the RealTracs app. And so that will, make it really easy. Everything you see here, you'll be able to see on your app too. I mean, you already will. So, and what I can do is I can show you what that looks like on the mobile app as well. I'm going to go here. And I'm going to stop sharing and start sharing my phone. With me just a second here. There we go. Share screen. And it'll take just a second and it should pop up with my screen. Do you guys see my screen? Here's my phone. Okay. So here's the RealTracs app. right here. If you haven't downloaded the RealTracs app, I would encourage you to do so because it's kind of awesome. In fact, I rarely use my laptop now. When I'm searching in RealTracs, I use my phone constantly. So tap on the RealTracs app. You always know you're using the app because that blue screen comes up. The only difference between opening up the RealTracs website and RealTracs app is we put you immediately into a search versus being on a home page, mostly because you guys are out and about using it and you need to be able to search like that. Okay, so here we are in the RealTracs app. Now, if you want to set up a showing on a property, let's say, for example, you run a search and you get whatever properties, right? Let's say it's this one up here. Okay, here's this. If I tap into that property and I scroll down to where we can schedule a showing, this one happens to be using other. This is an open door house, right? So here's an other. You would have to call and you could tap and call right from your phone, right? Okay, if I go to the next property, let's take a look. This one is showing time, and I can schedule a showing right from my phone, and I can either call or go outside the app by tapping that button and go into showing time. If I go to the next one, it's like the third or fourth one. Let's see here. Bear with me for a second. Okay, so here's one powered by RealTracs. So when I tap on from my phone, schedule showing, immediately I open up the scheduler. I can tap that, tap the time, and then hit the save icon. Now, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to actually schedule a showing for this property. This is live, but the save icon lets me save it, and there's a confirm button. Okay, then what happens is I receive a text message. So this is, so my phone number is associated with all of the testing stuff. And so I get both the listing agent side and the buyer's agent side. So ignore the fact that there's so many of these, but this one right here is what your client, the owner of the property, would see. There's a request to show 301 Seven Springs Way. The listing agent also receives this text. They click on this link and it takes them into their RealTracs app on their phone. Okay. It takes the owner into their seller portal so that they can see all of the showings. Now, as a buyer's agent, right here, your request to show 301 Seven Springs Way is accepted. And then I can tap into it. It also sent me this, that email that we just saw. Okay. So it gives you the same ease of doing business that way. Now, as far as managing it goes, in your app, you can still manage your showing appointments. You just tap the hamburger menu at the top left-hand corner. We call it a hamburger menu in the biz because it's a burger, a bun, and a burger, or that was opposite, a bun, a burger, a bun. If you tap that, that has the same menu as RealTracs does across the top. And your listing information is right here under My Listings. And here are the listings for the showing appointments for your listings and then the showing appointments for your buyers. Now, I don't have any currently scheduled because this is live and real. It's not a training environment, but I can look at the appointments. I can tap on feedback, and that's as a buyer's agent. If I want to look at it from a listing agent point of view, I can see all the appointments and again, feedback. So it's all available in the app. Should be easy to use. Maggie, you have a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know. I'm that needy student today.
No, it's okay. That's what I'm here for.
So I'm assuming that having these sellers have their own portal is kind of optional. They may not want to get all that. Okay. And then my other question is there a way that you can set up appointments and then add them to your calendar?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm going to stop sharing this screen and show it to you on the one that I had just popped up so you can see it. Do you see this right here, Maggie? It has the add to calendar button and it would show up the same on your phone. You would just tap add to calendar. Make sense?
Yes, sorry, I'm doing this all on my phone, so everything's kind of small.
That's
But, yeah,
okay. Let me
awesome.
make
Thank
it bigger
you.
for you.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
You're welcome.
Just need better glasses.
That's okay. Well, I should have mine on my face instead of on top of my head. So I totally understand that. So I'm gonna stop sharing that screen and share my mobile phone again with you so that you can see a couple of other things as soon as it populates here. There it goes. All right. So also in the RealTracs app, you have the ability, let me ask you guys this. Is there anybody at Village that still uses hot sheets? Anybody? Teddy sort of is kind of, yeah, and I don't have any of your pictures up here, so I can't tell if you're nodding. Well, hot sheets was just released in the mobile environment. And now in the morning, when you wake up, you can check your hot sheets before you ever get out of bed. You can open up the RealTracs app, go to your hamburger menu again. And just like under your search menu in RealTracs, if you tap search, Hot Sheets is located right there. When you tap Hot Sheets, what will happen is whatever your default hot sheet is, it auto runs for you. So it already ran the hot sheet that you had saved originally. And not only that, but if you were looking at, let's say you had run your hot sheets on expireds, but you also wanted to see all the other activity that has happened, you have an activity button now that you can click. And if you tap that activity button, it also tells you absolutely everything that happened. So you're not just limited to that expired set of listings or limited to those back to actives. You have everything and you can see it all from the new hot sheets. What's even cooler about the new hot sheets is that you can save multiple hot sheets. So if you're used to old-timey RealTracs where the only thing you can do is see one hot sheet at a time, you can actually save multiples in the new system and create a hot sheet for Davidson County, create a hot sheet for Williamson, or let's say, you know, the Gulch, or whatever it is that you're looking to save for, and you want to kind of watch that area. You can save multiples. So all you have to do to save multiples is run a hot sheet search. So hit the search icon and you can see here, it looks just like the regular search. The only difference is you have a search start date and you can do that last, you know, the last time I searched was yesterday at 2:47 p.m. That's that timestamp search. But I also have the today, yesterday, 3 days ago, 7 days ago. And these guys, guess what? These are from 12:01 a.m. today. So if I say today, 12:01 a.m., it's showing me everything that happened from 12:01 a.m. today. If it's yesterday, it's 12:01 a.m. yesterday, 3 days ago, 7 days ago, same thing. Okay. So if I chose that, oh, I can't click with my mouse. I have to click with my hand here. I can then add, you know, the different activity I'm looking for. I want to look at withdrawals, maybe, I don't know. You can add that stuff. Add whatever else you're looking for. So if you remember old hot sheets, very little criteria. You can actually add all sorts of criteria now. Do you want to look at everything that happens with pools in a particular area? You can add your pool description in here. Pretty easy stuff. So then you hit search. And when you tap on that search icon again, you can save. If you click save, do you want to save changes to that current hot sheet you were on, or do you want to save a new hot sheet? I want to save a new hot sheet. I want to call it, you know, the Gulch or whatever it is that I'm saving. And then I can even change this one into my default. Then I hit save. I also have multiple hot sheets under here. Look at that. Under saved, here's my multiple hot sheets. And I can have a whole list of multiple hot sheets. Can you do a map search in the hot sheet or just a zip code, etc.? Absolutely, you can do a map search. You can do your map search here. You can draw on it. Hit that search. Go into that search icon, hit save. Save as a new hot sheet or save current. So yes, Sylvia, you can absolutely do that. So think about this. Your alarm goes off in the morning. Most of us reach for our phone, unfortunately. You reach for your phone, you open up RealTracs. You tap on the hamburger menu at the top left. Under search, you tap hot sheets, and the one you have saved as your default automatically runs for you. You don't even have to tap search. It just does it. That's the new hot sheets, guys.
Better than donuts.
It's better than donuts. You can do this, of course, on the desktop as well. Okay. I just wanted to show it to you from your phone because, like, to me, this is just awesome. I love the fact that I can do hot sheets. And not only that, but so let's say my hot sheets are really specific. I just want to look at new listings, but I can also tap on that activity button and see absolutely everything that happened. And I still have my old hot sheet behind it. It's still there. And from here on the hot sheets, I can go to that more menu and I can do any of these things. So let's say, for example, I want to set up showings for these properties. I can also go in and do my Cloud CMA buyer tour from here. I could look at the stats. I could print it. I could share it. There's just so many things to do from your phone. That makes life just a little bit easier. What kind of questions do you have about that, guys? Any at all? All right, so I'm going to show you another cool thing that you can do from your phone that you may not know that you can do. And I think it's just one of the coolest things that we have on our app. So let's say, for example, you go to a property and you're sharing or you're showing a property to your client and they say to you, you know, how far back does the property go? Does it go back to those trees? Does it go past the fence? You can easily walk the property lines of that property. So what you would do if you're showing a property is you pull out your app and you can tap the near me button right here. And you guys can see this little blue dot, that's me, right? These are the houses that are for sale around me. Bye, John, thanks. These are the houses around me. If I was physically at this address showing the property, I could tap on that address. I'm going to click on one of these so I can show it to you. I'm going to click on that 320. So here's the house. If I tap on it and I'm at the property, I can go right here to map. See the map icon? And it's going to outline the property for me. Okay. Now, if I was physically here at this address, there would be a little blue dot. Now, I'm going to zoom out so you guys can see me. Do you see this little blue dot right here? See him? That's me. This house is way over here. So if I was physically at this house, this blue dot would be on top of those yellow lines. Let me show you what it looks like when you're actually at a property. Okay. So I'm going to look up my own property real quick. Now, don't come visit me, you guys. Have boundaries. I know y'all want to come to Clarksville and see me. So I'm going to pull up my own property. On a property that is not for sale, it comes up as an off-market property report. You guys recognize this. To walk the property lines here, I can just hit the expand icon. And now you can see this blue dot is me, and here are the property lines. So if you're showing a property and you want to walk the property lines, guys, look, as I move my phone, that blue dot moves around. So I can walk out the front door and go walk those property lines with my clients. So when they say, how far back does it go? Does it go past the fence? Does it hit the creek? How about to those trees? Well, let's go walk it. And guess what? Your clients, they can walk the property line as well. They can download the RealTracs app and do the same things you can, with the exception of you get all those cool agent tools. They don't get those. Did y'all know you could walk the property lines on your phone? Pretty neat. Dave knew. He's like, yes, I did. What would you say the error rate is on that? That's a great question, Sylvia. Error rate, I don't have like a number, but what I can tell you is this is a picture on top of a picture. So what you want to say to your client is this is an estimated. Yeah, you just want to make it clear. It's estimated. It's a picture on a picture. That's pretty cool. I'm going to go back in and search this area again and show you one or two other things about the mobile app here. These are all just, everything's under contract now, isn't it? It's crazy. So I'm going to tap on a listing that is for sale. If I go in here and I'm showing my client this property and he's like, man, Catherine, you told me how crazy this market is and I didn't believe you. We've put in 18 offers on different houses and have been declined, right? So now that we've seen this house, I really, really like it. I want to put an offer in. You're sitting in the driveway of this house, right? We're not in the house when we talk about it, right? Because there could be voice recordings, but we're sitting in the driveway. We can go in here and tap on docs and look at the disclosures, look at the offer instructions, look at the listing pack, like all the different things. We could go in here and take a look at the tax record on it, right? What else can we do? Well, we can select that property right there. Go up here to the More menu and tap on Transaction Desk and submit our offer stuff. Right from our phone, right from the driveway. Pretty cool. And of course, you can share your listings as well with your client. You check it off, you just hit share, go in there, share your listing right here, and then send it as a text, and it's right there.
Also, you can add to auto notify, which I think is kind of a nice thing. If you're at a house you want to add them to, would you just show that real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's say this house meets one of your other clients' needs, like this is the best house ever. It's just sort of outside their auto notify area that you've created, and you want to go ahead and share this with them. Like it's like a block outside the radius that they wanted you to search. You can tap on the More menu and tap on share. And then you can go right here, add to auto notify. And when you, whoops, I hit share link. My bad, hold on guys. My fingers are fat. Add to auto notify, and then it brings up your whole list of auto notifies here. I don't know why it's dark on your screen, but you can choose whichever auto notify you want to add it to, and that'll send it to them. I'm not really sure what happened there, but sometimes Zoom doesn't translate well on my app. I don't know why. And it looks weird and dark and funky on your end. All of that's there and available to you. If you haven't had the RealTracs app ever on your phone, great. Just download the RealTracs app. If you in the past have had it, but did not download it in February of last year, you probably have the wrong thing on your phone. So what you want to do is come to wherever that RealTracs app is, hold it down, delete it, and then re-download it. Just to make sure you weren't using like the saved icon for the mobile website, that you're actually using the RealTracs app itself. You can also, in the RealTracs app, add your listing. So if you're at a listing presentation and they're like, Andrea, you're the greatest realtor ever, I want to sign with you today. Instead of taking your notepad with you and writing down everything you know about their house, you can add your listing right from your phone. And when you go into that listing from your phone, you can hit your plus icon and it'll take you into, I'm going to go into one that's already been started. It'll take you into the listing itself, and you can go to the areas where the rooms are and start typing in the square feet, the room measurements, how many bedrooms, how many baths, fireplaces, what kind of heating system they have. And you won't miss a thing because every field is here. So then once you're leaving their house and you go back to Village or your office or in your car, wherever you normally do your work, then you've hit save and exit, then you go on a big screen and finish it all out. It's all easily done from your phone.
That's
Questions
awesome.
about that? Questions about anything RealTracs related? How do I, okay, Grace, good question. I deleted RealTracs from my phone. How do I put it on the new one? All right. So if you have an iPhone, you're going to look for your app store right here. So that's what an iPhone one looks like. If you are using an Android, you're going to look for Google Play. Okay, so in your app store or Google Play, you're going to find your little search icon, and then you're going to type in RealTracs. So type in RealTracs and run a search for it. So here's RealTracs. It can be RealTracs Inc. or RealTracs. It doesn't matter. It's the same one. When you tap on it, usually there's an advertisement above it. So like there's a realtor.com or Zillow or Redfin or Compass or whatever. If you see that, don't worry about that one. Scroll down till you see RealTracs. And if you're on an iPhone, you just tap get. And if you're on a Android, I think it's install. And then that's it. All you have to do then is just sign into RealTracs. So I'm going to show you what it looks like when you're signed out. So when you open up your RealTracs app, you'll just go up here to where it says sign in and agent sign in. You'll put in your username and password. It will probably make you two-factor authenticate because it does that the first time you sign in. And once you two-factor authenticate, you're in. You never have to sign out of RealTracs on your app. It works exactly the same. Let's see, it says, Sylvia says, I think I have the current app. Is there an about place to see if I have the current for sure? So of the current version, let me ask you this, Sylvia, when you are not in the app of RealTracs, when you, October of 2021, it should say, I think that was the last time we did a big upgrade on it. So yeah, that should be the current one, but here's how you tell if you're in the correct one. I'll tell you this, it's super easy. You just tap on RealTracs, and if this blue screen comes up right here, you know you're in the most updated version because we auto update it for you. You're in. All right, Sylvia, I'm glad to hear that. What kind of questions do you guys have? Any concerns?
I have a quick question. You may have already gone over this because I was late in the beginning, but can you save searches in the new RealTracs?
So that's coming. The new RealTracs, and I'll actually stop sharing this and share my other screen with you so you can see that. So in the new RealTracs, so whether you're getting it, I'm in the training environment, excuse me, let me go back over here. In the new RealTracs, whether you're searching via hover and click, right, in the new search, or you're searching here in the quick search or additional search options, there is not the save icon yet. It's coming. So if you want to save multiple types of searches or counties, or you want to save the only 2 listing statuses here, right? Like you might want to do that, or your county that you always search in. That's coming. I'll show you here. It's going to look very similar to hot sheets. So there's going to be a save icon. See the save icon? And then there's a load button, and it's coming. We're just not finished creating it yet. So that load will have multiple searches in here, and you can have as many as you want, just like the old system. And then the same thing here, the save, and it'll give you what type of save you're going to do. So in old timey RealTracs, you have a save button right here, and then they live under saved searches. In new RealTracs, they will most likely have this save button, and they will live in the load folder. Okay, we're just not done finished with it yet. So good question though, Dave. Any other questions? Concerns? Emotional outbursts, anyone?
This is super helpful, Liz. I am so grateful for this touch up. This was really, really great. Any other questions or things before we let Liz go?
Well, I've got an impossible one. I've got some buyers looking in Bellevue and West Nashville, but they don't want front-facing garages. Everything that's coming up is front-facing garages. And I know there's no way to filter that out.
There is.
Yes.
There is.
There is,
Um,
okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I don't think in the new system that filter item available yet, but let me take a gander at it here real quick. Let's go here.
The challenge, Fred, I will tell you, it's only as good as the data that the realtors put in. And often they are not being scrutinous with their garage indicators. So the fields are in there, but the agents don't utilize them well. And so I would caution you to advise your clients to search that way, because it is agents don't use it. You see it says attached front or rear or side. Agents just don't consistently utilize it well.
100% Teddy is absolutely correct. Unfortunately, you are at the mercy of the listing agent, and not all listing agents are created equal. If they've taken a class with me, I have been really explicit about that. I'm like, if it doesn't have a pool, select no pool. If it has a side garage, select side garage. You want to be really explicit as a listing agent so that buyer's agents can find you, right? That's really important. But unfortunately, not every field is required, and you are at the mercy of whether or not that listing agent took the time to click the right information in there.
All right, so if they entered in attached garage side, you can't really do a negative one. You can't say remove front facing garage. You just have to say that it has something, right? It has
Correct.
side facing garages. If that agent doesn't write anything in there, would their listing be eliminated from the search?
Well, you could essentially say you're looking for both attached, and if you hit the control key, then attached side and rear as well, or shift. I think it's shift. Hold on there. Yeah, shift. And you could do both rear and side instead of front. You can do that and run the search. Right.
But if they didn't enter any of those, it's not going to remove them from the list, I guess is my question. I don't want to have something not show up because I've designated that in the search.
If you designate it, it's going to search for what you designated, period. So RealTracs only searches for exactly what you're looking for. So if they did not designate it as a rear or side attached garage, you will not see it at all.
Now that's a problem.
Yeah.
I would stay away. I would stay away from using that entirely, Fred, for garage features, because agents don't use it consistently. They just put a 2 in garage. You don't know if it's a lean-to or a pup tent. So unfortunately, that's just a weakness of the data that's being input.
Yeah, it really is dependent upon the listing agent and whether or not they understand how to use the system, whether or not they care enough to put in that much detail, or whether or not they even know that they can. So unfortunately, you're sort of at the mercy of the listing agent. If we could make, as a teacher, if we could make every field required, we would, but we can't, unfortunately. So.
All right. Well, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I have a question.
I
know we need to wrap up. I have one last quick question. Somebody says, Ted, I want a 2.5 bath minimum. I want a 2.5 bath minimum, but they would be cool with a 3. How do you search that? Because if you put a half bath as a requirement, then a 3 full won't come up.
So you put the
15 years, still waiting.
2. Yeah, you would just start off with your bath as 2 and no maximum on the max. That's how I would do it.
Challenge is that brings up 2 full baths and no half, and that doesn't meet their criteria. And so I have to tell them that, we can't search half baths as a designator because it doesn't recognize a 3 is greater than a 2, or a 2.5. A 3 is greater than a 2.5 because it's its own field.
What you could do is you could look at it from your list view to do that. So what I mean by that is, like, let's say, for example, you're putting 2 bath minimum, right?
Yeah.
And let's say we'll do it in Franklin, the city.
I understand. I get what you're sharing, and then I could sort it that way. I'm saying more for like an auto search where.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know if that's ever solvable. I don't know how the other apps are doing that, but that's one that I often have to have a buyer consult with.
unfortunately, the way it translates to other websites.
Yeah.
So, we feed out that information from the MLS to other sites like realtor.com and all the .coms out there, all the apps. How it translates is different for almost every single one of them. And
Yeah.
so how they take 2.5 versus just 2 or just 3. So you have to think about how many sites we're syndicating out to, and that language sometimes doesn't speak to them, their site, so they don't translate it appropriately. So I think that's why 2.5 has never been, that half bath has never been added, that 2.5, because not every site does it and it doesn't translate appropriately.
Yeah.
But we'll keep trying.
Yeah. Well, again, I so appreciate you fielding all the tough questions and doing such a great job for us, Liz. Any other questions before we wrap? All right. Well, as we said, this is recorded. It'll be posted to the YouTube channel this week, and we appreciate you so much. Let's give Liz a hand.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate that. I'm so
Thank
glad
you
to
so
come.
much.
My pleasure, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your week.
Great job. And Liz's contact, you can find her in the RealTracs app and in the on the site if you need to contact her for more questions.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Liz.
Thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
you. Take care,
My
everyone.
pleasure. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.